The only thing better than our standard doubleheader is a triple header on CBS. We got a little Big Ten mixing a lot of SEC, and we got Chip Patterson of the Cover 3 podcast to break it all down. So let's start at Bryant-Denny, where it's LSU catching 3 at Bama with a total at 60.5. Chip, what do you like?
There are a few stages in American sports that are better than Alabama and LSU under the lights on CBS 2. I'm going to take Alabama. I'm going to lay these points, and there's a couple of reasons. Number one, while Jaden Daniels is having, and I kid you not, a Joe Burrow-like start to the year, through these first 8 games, game by game, the statistics are stacking up. But Joe Burrow went into Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa, took down the Tide, and his Heisman campaign took off. And Jaden Daniels might be able to do the same. But I will tell you what, he has not faced a defense all season that is on the caliber of Alabama. I'm a little bit concerned on the offensive line that they're going to be able to contain some of those edge pressures from Dallas Turner and the rest of the Alabama defensive front. But the thing that has me the most confident in Alabama being able to win this game and cover the 3 points, it's the fact that Jalen Milroe is going to be able to pick on this LSU secondary. It's been a very, very leaky Tigers defense. The availability in the secondary is a big concern, whether it's injuries or other reasons. It just looks like a group that was really built through the transfer portal isn't really shaping up to be elite. And what Tommy Rees has done with this Alabama offense is he's just letting Jalen Milroe just deep balls or singles, home runs or giving it to the perimeter. And so by eliminating that intermediate passing game, we're eliminating a lot of Jalen Milroe's misses. Beautiful deep ball, big game for Jermaine Burton. Crimson Tide win this one by 7 or 10 points.
Okay, looks like the total might have ticked up a point as well. So that's a game that's a ranked-on-ranked matchup that our Jenny Dell will be on the sidelines. Or Amanda Gare is going to be the sidelines for a ranked-on-ranked matchup. Mizzou catching north of 2 touchdowns at Georgia with a total in the mid-50s, Chip. The total is something that keeps your eye here in this one.
Oh, yeah, points on points on points on points. I don't want any part of having to worry about Georgia covering the spread because of the individual explosiveness that you have with Missouri wide receiver Luther Burden. He moves into the slot. He honestly moves all around in the offense, and Eli Drinkwitz does a great job of scheming him up so that Brady Cook just has to deliver the ball in space, and Luther Burden can turn this into an absolute 60-yard touchdown type play. So when you've got that potential, I don't want to have to be worrying about the Bulldogs defending that. And so I do think Missouri can get us to 20. But Tommy, I think we are not appreciating Carson Beck and what he is able to do with this Georgia passing game. Georgia's rushing attack has not been what we're used to. Georgia's defense has not been what we're used to. But Beck has been absolutely dealing. Sometimes it starts a little bit slow. He's like a boxer. He kind of looks for your weakness in the early rounds. Then in the second half, he absolutely picks these defenses apart. I think he's going to have a big game as well. I see Georgia getting to 40. I see Missouri getting to 20. So instead of having to sweat that 15.5, let's just go with the over.
I love the boxing reference, by the way, and that also means that Georgia, which are technically the champs, they don't have the belt in terms of the CFP committee's eyes, because that belongs to Ohio State at the moment, laying 18.5 at Rutgers with a total that's in the low 40s. Once again, you're taking a look at the total here, something to keep your eye on.
Yeah, I just am looking at the trends here. So every single game against a Power 5 opponent this year for Ohio State has gone under the total. And if you want to get really specific, the team total under for every single opponent for Ohio State this year has gone under. And why is that? Well, it's because the defense is one of the best in the daggum country. Ohio State is at #1 for 2 reasons. It is because of, yes, it has more quality wins than anybody else of those 5 undefeated teams at the top of the rankings. But #2, its defense is elite. It's not because of Marvin Harrison Jr. It's not because of Honda McCord with his dinking and dunking at the quarterback position. This is a group that wins with the silver bullets on defense. So you are looking at an Ohio State team that going into Piscataway already with the #1 beside its name just needs to win by 1 point. And that's all Ohio State has to do all the way until the regular season finale against Michigan. You don't need style points when this offense has already gotten you to #1. So I'm going to go under the total, follow the trends. I think that the Silver Bullets defense continues to dominate. I just don't know how many points the Scarlet Knights are going to score.
All right, let's get to a conference that doesn't feature an undefeated team, but there are 4 or 5 contenders with just 1 loss, which makes the slate really enticing here, Chip. You got K-State catching 4.5 at Texas here with a total just under 50. So I halfly pause because you're playing sort of the old Todd Furman special here of a first half play. Why don't you lay it for us here?
Yeah, Texas in the first half against Kansas State, and it's because of the halftime adjustments we saw from Kansas State just last season. Texas comes on, they put up nearly 30 points in that first half and are held to 3 after halftime. I think Kansas State coach Chris Kleiman is one of the best in the game at being able to make those halftime adjustments. I think Steve Sarkisian is a great game planner and play caller, especially when we're talking about those first 15 plays. And Tommy, when I was watching Malik Murphy against BYU last week live, I was not overly impressed. But then I went back and upon careful review, they did a spring game playbook. They showed absolutely nothing. And I think that really sets up with Texas, with Malik Murphy, and with the Longhorns getting off to a really fast start. The problem is I don't want to have to trust Texas to take it the distance, especially after what we saw after halftime in the Texas-Kansas State game last year. So give me the Longhorns in the first half to lead by a field goal or more.
That's a great angle. If we get to OU, which fell from the ranks of unbeaten in Lawrence there, so they're laying 5.5 at the Bedlam there at Oklahoma State with a total of 61.5. So I'm curious why you don't want to play the spread and instead really feel better about the total in this game.
This is a low buy point for Oklahoma. If you like Oklahoma, this is about the best price that you're going to get, especially when you consider how strange that game was in Lawrence with the long weather delay, rumors of a lot of sickness going around that Oklahoma locker room. I think Oklahoma State's probably a very trendy pick right here, but I've got another angle that I feel so much more confident in, Tommy. And that's the fact that both of these defenses are among the bottom quarter in all of FBS in missed tackles. So if we've got Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, and we've got two defenses that are going to miss tackles, we've got Oklahoma State running back Ollie Gordon, who averaged 214 yards per game in the month of October against an Oklahoma defense whose run defense has been exploited. Then you've got an Oklahoma State defense that can give up big plays through the passing game against an explosive passing attack led by Dylan Gabriel. I mean, Tommy, strength on weakness, strength on weakness. Both teams are bad at getting solid tackles and wrapping up in the open field. And come on, man, it's bedlam. This is what this game was meant for. Touchdowns on touchdowns on touchdowns, a game decided in the 30s or more. I think that we get it, so I'm going over the total in this one.
Yeah, slightly sad emoji, of course, with Oklahoma going to the SEC. That Bedlam put on hold, at least for the foreseeable future after this weekend. So if you like points in that one, you're probably going to like points in the Pac-12. 76.5 is what we're seeing with Washington and USC. And even though it's a high total, Chip, it's a short number. So you got the Huskies laying 3 against the Trojans here. What's the play going to be for you?
I'm going to make a bad decision. And you can follow me because bad decisions can be fun and sometimes they work out for the best. But give me USC plus these points. Because I tell you what, I'm going to use some friendly language here. You can fart around and then find out. There's that chart of fart around and find out. And all we've seen from Washington outside of the game against Oregon recently has been Washington farting around. They were playing with their food against Arizona State. They nearly got knocked off by Arizona. They find themselves in these situations time and time again where the Huskies should just be a little bit sharper and a little bit more solid. And I just wonder if after messing around here over the last couple of weeks, we see Washington finally get bit. Because while Michael Penix is awesome and the 1-2 punch of Rome Odunze and Jalen McMillan is among the best in the country, and yes, Jalen Polk, you're right there too. They go 3 deep with NFL wide receivers. I think the Huskies defense can get got. And I think USC, if it plays with a chip on its shoulder, if it plays with a little bit of pride in a season where it feels like everything is spiraling out of control, then they can absolutely go and win this game. So sometimes in college football, when you see a team that is ranked highly, that is running hot in the win-loss column, but you understand that the quality of performance isn't matching that ranking, you find that they end up getting got. And so I'll say that this is a spot where they could get got. Give me USC in the point.
Chip, you're on fire today. That's like that kid. Why'd you do it? because I like doing hood things with my friends. You know what I'm saying? Chip Patterson joining us here on HQ, part of the Cover 3 with Bud Elliott, Danny Cadell, and Tom Fornelli. They've got Week 10 locks, including the ones Chip just laid out there. I just like doing fun things with my friends. That's a great like. All right.
Time,
yes.
video, meme, whatever.
It's great.
Top tier.
Cover 3 is great.